Hello everyone, Doug here. My wife says I'm not very emotional, but I think the truth of the matter is I feel things very deeply, but I don't always show it. And I think one of the things that made me feel some things very deeply recently was I was watching the documentary on Pee-Wee Herman, and it made me think of, I saw how he had these huge highs and huge lows in his life, and I feel like a lot of us, we don't have that, so maybe it's good not to have the low lows, but we don't have those high highs either. And we don't necessarily pursue a risky dream like he did. He really wanted to be famous. He wanted to create a character that people loved. And, the odds of that being successful are so low, I think a lot of us wouldn't even try. And it made me think about back on my own life. What if I had tried these sort of high risk, things that I had more passion about? I've been a software engineer for 30 years, and I'm pretty great at it. I've become a chief software engineer, a senior principal application engineer, and it's definitely something I'm talented at. And I like creating great products. I feel like if anything's worth doing, it's worth doing to the best of your ability, no matter what it is. Otherwise, why do it at all? So, I feel like that's been a big part of my success as a software engineer, but it's not really the dream job that I had when I was younger. If I really could have done anything in the world, I would have wanted to be an actor as well. And, maybe I wasn't as talented at it as I am with software engineering. And maybe I'm not good looking enough. I know I'm not beautiful. But it's something I love doing. I mean, you feel, the camaraderie of your cast members, and just the excitement and energy during and before performance, and creating sort of those emotional feelings in other people that you felt yourself and that you could relate to. Like when I was in high school, the English teacher asked us to do a Shakespeare soliloquy. And so I picked To Be or Not to Be, which is probably the most obvious one to pick. And I felt, I feel like I felt like what that character felt. As a sort of a lonely, angsty teenager, a good part of the time I felt unloved. It's not a big stretch then to understand what it might feel like, or why you might want to end it, like the character, for completely different reasons than the character in Hamlet. But I really could feel those emotions. And when I did that performance in front of the class, I felt what somebody going through that experience would feel. And at the end, the teacher was like, wow, that was really good. She was like, I was going to tell people, don't do To Be or Not to Be because, it's so overdone. But I ended up getting an A+. And, since then, I was in some other productions in high school. I was, never the lead in anything. It was very rarely, certainly in high school and in college. I did computer science as my major in college. But I did also take a bunch of drama classes, and I had a really great drama teacher too. I did a lot of character parts. I did, like Cyrano de Bergerac. Obviously, the big nose helps with that. And I did, there was a really weird Russian play when I was in college. And, my drama professor that I really liked, he put me in it, but it was kind of a non-speaking part. I was a weird character in the play that made weird noises and had interesting facial expressions. But, it was still, the energy and the ability to create those feelings. And even I remember that one where I didn't have any words in the play. I was just this weird character. It was called a diploid. And there was somebody reviewed the play, and they had like, this really positive reaction to the weird, ability of me to create these weird facial expressions and evoke the feelings that were required. Maybe I'm not sure what it is when somebody wants to be an actor, they want to be in front of an audience. Maybe it's they feel like they need attention or something. I don't know what it is, but I think it's a need, and maybe we all have that need. But in thinking back on this, it made me wonder, maybe I should have pursued that more. And I did a little bit after college, as I joined a group, many years ago. There was a group called the Violet Crown Radio Players, and I just, one day I'm like, I really just I want to try some acting. I saw an ad for their, one of their plays that they had, and I auditioned. It was It's a Wonderful Life. They did these radio plays in front of a live audience, and I auditioned for the part of Clarence, the angel, and I got it. And so not only did I do that part, but I also was a regular in their group. I joined their group, and it was great. They had writers that would write these clever commercials and serials for radio plays, old-timey radio plays. We would wear, old-timey outfits, and we would do sound effects during the plays in front of the live audience with all sorts of different props. It was fun. It was great. It kind of petered out though. And eventually I think people, we all had day jobs. It was all like our kind of like hobbies. And so it just kind of petered out after a while. I think people get busy with life, and we just stopped doing it. And then I focused on the software engineering and a 30-year career at that. But now, I'm further along in my life. Maybe I don't look that old, but I think I'm older than I look. And you look back and you're like, well, what if I had taken a bigger chance on that? What if I had, auditioned for more things, or maybe moved somewhere where there was more opportunity for that? Could my life have been completely different? Could I have affected more people? I mean, that's one of the things I've started thinking about as I get older, is like, how much of a difference have I really made in the world? How many people are using the software I've created? How big a difference is it making to them? What's really important in life is how you touch people's lives, how you make things better for them. Maybe I could have made things better for more people, made more people happy, if I had chosen a different path. Maybe it's not too late. Maybe now is the time to try. And, I think a big part of this, of trying to do YouTube videos and becoming a YouTuber, is part of trying to, follow that dream a little more. And I appreciate you guys listening to this. I don't know how it's going to work out. I'm not getting many views. I think that is, a struggle that everybody who's trying this deals with. I don't care. I'm not trying to make money doing this. I don't want to do it as a career, like to make a living. I want to make a bigger difference in the world. I want to touch people, bring some joy to people, create a community of people, with similar interests and similar feelings, and just make a bigger difference to the world. I hope it's not too late. I hope I'm not too old to be able to do something like this. And maybe I even want to do more, and maybe, maybe start auditioning for things again, see what I can find around town. I think if I had any advice to my younger self, it would be, take more risks. Don't worry about the future so much. Yeah, you have a nice steady job as a software engineer and you make a decent living, but is it really fulfilling? At the end of your life, what will you have to show for it? Is it something that you really felt passionately about? Did you feel like, you made a mark in the world, you made a difference, you affected people's lives in a positive way? If it is, great. Everybody has their own things that they're passionate about. Pursue the things you're passionate about. Pursue the things that bring you happiness and joy and help you spread that happiness and joy to others. I think that's what's most important in life, and that's what I'm going to try to do from now on. So I hope you'll join me on this journey, and I don't know where it's going to go or what I'm going to do next, but I'm at the point in my life where I don't need to work for money anymore. I don't need to do a job because I need to make a living and to support my family. I want to do the things I'm passionate about, the things that I feel like make life worth living. So I hope you'll join me on this journey, and I hope that my videos will touch you in some way, evoke some emotion, bring you some joy. And if they do, please like and subscribe. Because that's how these things spread. Regardless, I'm going to keep trying my best because this is something I'm passionate about and I hope to make a difference with in the world, and I'm going to see how it goes. Until next time, Doug out.